Good evening, everyone. I'm Victoria Optoff Cordero, and we are starting Lower Saucon Township Council meeting. It is now 6:33. I don't know why you're squeaking, but will everybody please roll call? Sorry.
Ms. Ray.
Here.
Mr. Gress.
Here.
Mr. Heinebecker.
Here.
Saucon Cordero.
Here.
Ms. DeLeon.
Here.
Also present is our township engineer, Mr. Tucker, our zoning officer, Tyler Mitch, myself, Stacy Wertheiser, our solicitor, Mr. Buzizian, and our manager, Jay Finnegan. Oh, and our junior council member, Nikki Zakar.
All right, thank you very much. Informational items from the manager.
Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded for future broadcast.
Thank you. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll turn it over to the solicitor. We did have an executive session.
Yes. Prior to the meeting, we had an executive session. At the executive session, items were discussed with regard to personnel and real estate. No official action was taken, and no action is going to be taken today on the agenda with regard to any of the items that we discussed in executive session earlier today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Junior council reports. We do. Thank you very much.
There we go. Okay, so in the junior council report, it's mostly athletics. So the Saucon Valley wrestling team beat Northwestern Lehigh and are now league champions as of last week. So congrats to our wrestling team. They've worked really hard all season and they really deserved the win. And then also at Saucon Valley High School, the Colonial Star of the Week was freshman girls basketball player Sierra Skoda, and she scored 25 of the team's 52 points and led them to win the game. So she was highlighted as the Colonial Star of the Week, and Saucon Valley is very proud.
Very good. Congratulations. Thank you very much. And congratulations to all of those sports teams. Next is the public comment procedure. We do have it out in the hallway. Major changes, which aren't really major. For everybody's notice, we will have presentations before we do public comment on agenda items only, 3 minutes. Then after we conclude our business meeting just before the end, you will also have another opportunity to comment on agenda or non-agenda items. So with that, I'm going to move to presentations and recognitions. We have the swearing in of Officer Brackett. So we have a whole contingency of our police force back there who are wonderful. So I welcome them all forward.
Thank you.
Chief, would you like a microphone?
I can talk loud enough.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Drake Brackett. Drake Brackett is a 2020 graduate of Wilson Area High School, a 2022 graduate of Northampton County Community College with an associate's degree in criminal justice, and is a 2023 graduate of the Allentown Police Academy. Drake previously worked full-time with the Moravian University Police Department, and he currently resides in Lehigh County and enjoys coaching soccer in his off time. Judge Medge will swear him in, please.
Welcome, Judge Medge.
Thank you. You want to raise your right hand for me, please, and repeat after me. I, Drake Brackett, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend and enforce the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and the ordinances of Lower Saucon Township, without consideration to race, color, sex, religious creed, sexual orientation, age, national origin, ancestry, handicap, or disability. And that I shall at no time
divulge confidential reports of the department or circulate scandalous information, and that I will discharge the duties of police officer with fidelity. Congratulations. Drake's father will pin his badge for him. Please join me in welcoming Drake as he starts his new venture as a full-time officer with the Lower Saucon Police Department team. And to also wish him the best of luck on a long, safe career serving the residents of Lower Saucon Township. He will officially begin his field training tomorrow, which will last approximately 5 months. And I'd like to thank council for your continued ongoing support of the police department and look forward to more working relationships as we continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Barnt. Congratulations, Officer Brackett.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, so now we're going to move to public comment. For anybody that has a comment on the agenda item, please come forward.
Good evening, Jason Bononis, resident in Lower Saucon Township, taxpayer. I noticed that on the agenda there is no agenda item, neither on this agenda nor the last agenda, regarding the advertising for the hiring of an investigator to investigate Lower Saucon Township Police. And I question the use of township taxpayer money for that purpose. It's never been disclosed to the public that this investigation was going to be taking place, and it's unfortunate. I was contacted last week by a gentleman, Dan Monick, who apparently was hired by the township. He's a retired police officer. He's being paid $90 an hour by Lower Saucon Township taxpayers to investigate and intimidate the Lower Saucon Township Police Department. I find that appalling as a resident and a taxpayer and a supporter of our police department. Apparently this investigation was concocted by this council in secret at some point and arranged for by this council in secret at some point to intimidate Lower Saucon Township Police in their proper investigation of domestic violence allegations regarding a member of Lower Saucon Township Council. They fabricate this to pursue this investigation and to intimidate the Lower Saucon Township Police Department from properly discharging their duties as police officers in this township to keep the public safety. There's a lot of shady things that you folks have done in your years on council, but this really is an amazing one. When you think about the background on this is that there was a public broadcast by Northampton County 911 identifying an individual and an address on a date regarding a domestic violence investigation. That's the basis for this, and yet you're going to waste Lower Saucon Township taxpayer money to try and intimidate the police by having this concocted cover-up. I'll call it a cover-up. I think it's a cover-up intended to protect one of your own. I find that appalling. And I find it even more appalling that at the last council meeting, I called for Lower Saucon Township to arrange for a day of domestic violence awareness, and you've taken no action on that. Instead, you'd rather pay an investigator to investigate the police instead of policing your own. To help you with your efforts, I brought something. It's a gift from me to Lower Saucon Township. These are the Purdon statutes, 23 sections 1 through 6101 and the ending. These are the domestic relations rules and laws for Pennsylvania. So I will gift these to the township if you form a library or to inform yourselves on how domestic violence works and where you should be focusing your attentions. The other question I have is, why was there no agenda regarding a secret meeting that the Lower Saucon Township Council, not even majority, entirety, had after the last council meeting at the Copperhead Grill? You met, all 5 of you met. There's photographic evidence of this, of you meeting in public, but yet you never put any agenda out for this meeting. What was discussed at this meeting? What was on the agenda? What township-related matters were discussed? What other violations of the Sunshine Act have you made? This is another example of it. Time and time again, you do whatever you want to do with disregard for the rules, and you don't follow the Sunshine Act. It's appalling to me, and every taxpayer should be aware of this, that you're doing these things in secret to their detriment and to the detriment of public safety. I'll also point out, with regard to the budget item that we have.
Mr. Benonis,
that-
I'm sorry, the time is past the 3 minutes. If you could just finish up, please.
I will wrap up. Thank you very much. I appreciate you listening to me. I know you're not going to do anything, but I appreciate you listening to me. In the morning call, Tony Salamone wrote an article about the goings-on in Hellertown. And in there, he talks about Liz Thompson resigning from Borough Council and a secretary resigning from Borough Council. And there's discussion about the additional financial burdens on taxpayers, $30,000 and $60,000 in an assessment and legal fees that were incurred as a result of money disappearing or issues with the police department there. And the quote that's in there is accountability. They preach it, but they don't practice it. That and transparency are not practiced. It's the
Mr.
same thing in Lower
Benonis,
Saucon Township. You
we are
people
now
waste our
2
tax money
minutes
by sending it across the
into
creek.
the
You
extra
send our
time.
money
If
across
you
the
could
creek,
just
and it's
please
ridiculous that
finish
you
up your
will act that
comment,
way
please.
with our money. Remember, you work
Can
for
you
us,
finish up
folks.
your
You work
comment,
for us.
please?
Keep our community safe, please. I'll leave these on the table for you. Mr. Heimbacher, you want copies of these, or who should I hand them to? Anybody, or you want them on the table? I'll just leave them here for you.
Thank you for your comment.
And I hope the morning call does an investigation of this. They really should. They really should do some cutting-edge investigation of what you people are doing.
Thank you for your comment. Next person, please.
Good evening. My name is Krista Rose, and I represent the Bethlehem Landfill Company. I'm standing in for Marianne Garber, who is not available to attend tonight's meeting. I'm speaking with regard to Agenda Item 6H, which is listed as confirming the recording of scenic and conservation easements previously recorded in Northampton County Recorder of Deeds at Volume 1994-6, page 10281, and Volume 1994-6, page 10207. Bethlehem Landfill Company objects to Ms. Optoff-Cordero's participation in any discussion or vote on this agenda item because of her conflict of interest with regard to the expansion of the Bethlehem landfill. The conflict of interest has been outlined in detail by Marianne Garber at numerous prior public meetings and is the subject of an appeal before the Commonwealth Court that is currently pending. Bethlehem Landfill Company maintains that Ms. Optoff-Cordero's conflict of interest precludes her from voting on this motion and demands that she recuses herself accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next person, please. Go ahead. Thank you, sir.
All right, I got to laugh because Victoria was the one at the landfill meeting a bunch of years ago who spoke for over 16 minutes. And when Jason asked her, can you please finish? We have other people. She started to sit down and somebody at the podium said something and she popped right up, started yelling and screaming, right? That's Victoria. And if you want the outlay of that, I'd be more than happy to send it to anybody here. You set the example already. You talk when you shouldn't have, and you continue. So you don't get any respect yet, okay? So I have some questions here. This Russell fella, who you want to appoint to the EAC, I noticed Priscilla over here, at the time I said he shouldn't be there because he cut down 40 trees or so, it's alleged. And the bottom line, he did not have a permit, yet he paraded around the dais here several times, also illegal, but that's okay because the Democrats had control of it and nothing was said. I oppose him because anybody that does that to Mother Nature and who cleans the air up on that hillside after 40 trees are cut down is absolutely a hater of environmental controls. What else? Data centers. Gee, I'm really happy that somebody picked up Penn Futures, and Penn Futures' major goal is, guess what? Environmental. So that ordinance ought to really be looked at. It was 7 pages. I noticed we have 20. I'd like to know who filled in the rest of them. And maybe I have to do a FIO Act, okay, in order to get it. We'll find out. It looks like that's the only way we get real, honest information. What Mr. Bionis was saying, it really smacks of other things. You guys meeting at a special place, all huddled together, not allowed. Everybody knows that. I'm sure Mr. Gaduzian was probably there and said it was okay. Maybe not. That could be hearsay. What else? The auditor's resolution, it'd really be nice if we see the criteria why you chose this order. I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent. What firms were considered, et cetera. Do they do the audits for Hellertown, which currently has 2 police chiefs still in jail? And yet there are people on this, up on this dais who really want to be coupled tightly to Hellertown. All right, what else do we have? It just goes on. There were 22 items, way too long. Property management, hey, who invited them into the party? Does PA not have sufficient property controls of what goes on? An international code? Oh, that's really great. Are we going to be part of the international code now? It seems to me we're pretty far advanced compared to some of the other cities. So I don't know where these things come from. Has Brian reviewed this? Brian, did you review it? Don't answer, you can't. You'll get fired. How about key codes? How about, I don't know, there's just so many. And you people just keep it quiet and say nothing. We know nothing about where this came from, who wrote it, how it comes to be, and how you might vote on it. And there's no discussion. It's just, as last time, about 30 items, just block them all together and say we pass. There's your transparency.
Thank you for your comment. Next person.
Good evening, Stacy Mazensky, Lower Saucon Township. So I'm here to speak to the data center ordinance and the IMPC ordinance. The resolution pertaining to the clarification of data centers, I have a concern with section 180-128, data centers and data center accessory users. Number 3, as written, it says, data centers and data center accessory users shall be set back 200 feet from boundary of a residential zoning district or lot of any property developed with sensitive receptors. Residential zoning is also noted in D, the landscape buffers, and adjoining residential zoning districts stated in 4 and 5 on page 5, as well as screening and fencing on page 6. So the point is this. You recognize the inherent concerns that our data centers bring to a community by limiting it to light manufacturing zones. But you're allowing light manufacturing zones to be situated 200 feet from a residential zone. It should be 200 feet from a commercial / general commercial or mixed use zone, not 200 feet from a residential zone. Heck, 200 feet from residential is similar to the headaches that the residents face on Easton Road. They experience it every day with the lights, the signage, the pollution, all of it. So if you're gonna write it so that it's for a progression into the residential area, not right to it. It doesn't make a bit of sense. So I oppose the data center and the data center accessory user ordinance as it's currently written. So regarding the IMPC ordinance, the whereas clauses are, hold on. They're not clear if you no longer are utilizing the 2021 International Property Maintenance Code or you're replacing it with the 2024 International Property Maintenance Code. Also, the first whereas clause states that you intend to adopt all future additions and amendments, but you have no idea what those amendments or additions could be. So they are commonly known to just make huge leaps in the next versions, and you've just automatically just rubber stamped it to say you're gonna accept all future additions and amendments. You really should consider that very carefully before you just say that you're going to be in compliance with all future additions, because it could be cost prohibitive, and it could be something that you can't even get the materials to do it with all the tariffs and everything else that's going on right now. So be very mindful of that when you decide to write these things. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next person, please. Anybody?
Again, nobody listens. Mark Osmek, Lower Saucon Township, and I am the only one that signed the paper. People just can't follow. Oh, could I? No, there's one up here. Couple things floor me, and I didn't know data center was on here. You should just take that topic and toss it right out the window, because I was up at Penn Forest Township the other night for the Poconos and them fighting them up there. I don't know if any of you watched it on YouTube or Facebook, but it's on there. I guess we'll have to see what happens when you go to talk about it. Public comment number 6 on the comment thing. Number 6 needs some addressing because I think that's like a violation of people's First Amendment rights. And we're going down to F on the agenda, and that one is the International Property Maintenance Code Ordinance. I don't know which one of you knuckleheads came up with this, but you ought to take that and throw it out the window too. We live in a township, our township. Our township should be run by our township, not anybody else, not the state, not the county, not anybody. If you want to get international stuff involved, then go play in international waters and stay there. Because I'm going to tell you what, I watched another video and I talked to some of the neighbors about it. And right now, going on in Pottstown, there's a lawsuit, I think, for the last 5 or 6 years from some girl who caught on and was smart and knew her rights. And she decided to sue Pottstown because Pottstown has people walking up to people's doors and wanting to go in and inspect their houses for no reason at all. I believe that's a violation of your rights. So, you know what? You got a whole bunch of crap in here that I'm not going to read through and go over, but you need to do away with it. Any one of you that vote on this is not getting my vote next time you come up for election, if you make it on for the ballot. And you can sit there and smirk all you want. I told you when you got on this council to think for yourself, so you better think right. Quit invading people's properties, their rights, and let people live. It's my choice if I want to live with a roof that leaks, or I want to live with the dog that's shit in the house, or some other nonsense and not pick my underwear up, which I don't wear any anyway. That's none of your business, and it's none of the township's business what goes on in my house. And it's none of my business what goes on in your house. You could be as gay as you want or whatever you want to do, and that's your business. Yeah, the camera's recording it all. I got every one of your looks. So that's where it stands with me. You bitched and moaned about Bananas and his team of idiots that did everything they wanted to do. Now you're going down the same path. One of you went this way and the other one's going this way.
Sir, Ozan,
Well, you're going the wrong way.
Can you
Yeah, I
finish up,
know.
please?
I'm done. Get over it. People should have put me on council.
Thank you very much for your comment. Anybody else? Going once?
Anne Marie Slavic, Lower Saucon Township. I wasn't going to talk, but after that one, I had to make a comment. So FYI to all the voters out there in the township and Northampton County, you get what you vote for. So there's a little saying, you will own nothing and you will be happy. And that comes from the global leftists. And wake up, everybody. The global leftists are on your council now. So when you vote for Democrats, that's what you get. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Anybody else? Okay.
I wasn't gonna say anything either, but my name is Mark Panic, Lower Saucon Township. I got a letter about an ongoing vehicle hobby versus business ran at my house. First of all, I didn't know where the letter came from, and I'd like to publicly apologize to Tyler Mitch for leaving him a heated message, and it was uncalled for, and I apologize. I found out it came from Mr. Guz, I don't know how to pronounce your name, Stephen. I found it came from him that he said that I purchased another vehicle, which over the years I've been adopted in there. I should have been grandfathered in as per our hearing that we had. My lawyer sent me a letter. I was very heated about it, and I even talked to Mr. J. Finnegan. But I do not have any new vehicles. I just want you to know. I know you go jogging by my house all the time, and you probably thought, but I moved vehicles out of the back in order to get rid of some. I do have 8 vehicles to date it was 5 vehicles a month. I got overwhelmed with my hobby. So I'm doing the best I can. I had meniscus surgery last week, and I blew it out a month ago. And as per the judge that I just talked to in the office out there in the hallway, and he did agree with me that barring any injuries, that we would revisit it, and you're not going to be held to the 5 vehicles a month to disperse them off my property. And I just conferred with him, and Mr. J. Finnegan, you told me today that he didn't say that, and he just conferred that he did. So I know I'm not here to, you guys get enough, oh my God, I cannot believe this. I've never been to a meeting like this. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. But I just want to say I'm doing what I can to our agreement. And I hope you're understanding with that. And we got more snow coming. I can't get back there and get stuff out of there. So hope you understand. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else? Going once, twice? Okay, we are moving on. We don't have any hearings. We don't have any developer items. Business items 6A, Rosen Grant Variance 1525-26-126.
So,
Go ahead, Steve.
so this is, as the members of council know, whenever there is a variance request to be held before the zoning hearing board, it's brought first before township council to see if township council wants to take any steps regarding the actual appeal. So township council, after hearing the facts, can decide to either take affirmative action by sending the solicitor to oppose something, can support something, or more often than not, will take no action and allow the zoning hearing board to make that decision. Tyler is here with regard to the actual memorandum that he provided, but it's essentially a gas station provision where they're seeking relief. They have a width of 186 feet and they need 200 feet. So they're 4 feet short and they're asking for a variance. That would normally be heard by the zoning hearing board. If you have any questions, we're certainly here to, staff is ready to answer those questions. But if inclined, one might want to make a motion to take no position with regard to these zoning variance requests.
Is the applicant, Mr. Rosengrant, here by any chance? Just curious.
President, I suggested that there was no need for him to drive down from, I believe he resides in the Poconos, for a 4-foot de minimis request.
Duly noted. Just wanted to make sure we weren't overlooking them if they were here. So I will entertain a motion from any member of council.
I'll make that motion to take no position.
I'll second that.
Any discussions or questions? I'll do roll call, please.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes. Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next, we have 6B, Resolution 30-2026, which is appointment of our township auditor. Jay, you want to say anything about this?
Sure. As council is aware, we had gotten authorization earlier in the year, actually probably last year, at the end of last year, to go out and request proposals from auditing firms to do the township's audit for 2025 and beyond. Contacted multiple municipalities in both Lehigh and Northampton County, got a list of who is performing their audits. sent proposals to 10 or 12, request for proposals to 10 or 12, and got proposals from 3 different companies, which was Fry and Company, Bucko, Wazinski and Company, and Campbell, Rappold, and Uratus. And then Patty and I sat down together, looked at their proposals, and looked at the evaluated based on the experience of the audit of municipal and governmental entities, knowledge of governmental accounting standards board requirements, professional qualifications and certifications, quality and scope of the proposed audit approach, cost effectiveness and overall value, and references from past clients. And based on that, we are recommending that the Township appoint Campbell, Rappold, and Uratus LLP as the independent auditor, and also to agree to a 3-year contract with them where they would do the 2025, 26, and 27. Entering into a 3-year agreement would provide continuity, efficiency, and cost stability.
Thank you very much, Jay. So at this time, I would entertain a motion for us to appoint Campbell, Rappold, and Uratus LLP to fulfill the duties of this position relative to the township accounts for fiscal year 2025, 2026, and 2027, as per section 917 of the second class township code. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any discussion or any questions?
I have a question, I guess, for Jay. Is there a reason we went with 3 years versus, say, 4 or 5, 10 years? Is that a particular standard, or is that just a good, safe bet?
The firms submitted 1, 3, and 5 years, and being that we're switching, I would only recommend going 3 as opposed to 5. And there was no great additional savings by going 5 as opposed to 3 on this organization's proposal, and based on our evaluation, they're probably the ones best fitted for Lower Saucon Township.
Okay. Thank you.
It should be noted that our current one that had done it for the last long time didn't even submit a proposal, which is interesting.
Oh, interesting. Were they contacted?
Yep. Yep.
And they declined?
Well, they might not have the capacity anymore.
Oh.
But because some of the ones that we had contacted sent letters that they just don't have the capacity. So sometimes you get a portfolio that's beyond where you can submit proposal for additional work.
Well, it's a good idea to put it out for bid, things like this, anyway.
Might switch it up.
Yeah.
I think this was a good plan. So thank you, Jay, for that work. Can I have a roll call?
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Optoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 31-2026, disposal of certain public records under Act 428 of 1968. Jay, do you have any comments on this?
Sure, it's customary in municipalities to purge their paper files and records, and the Commonwealth has established the procedure in which to do that disposal, which is by resolution, and also sets the time frame as to how long you have to maintain the records. So this resolution is prepared in conjunction and in compliance with the appropriate act.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion that we adopt Resolution 31-2026, disposing of certain public records under Act 428 of 1968.
Can't hear you back there. You want to speak to the microphone so it's loud enough to hear you?
Your mic.
The microphone is on, but just, is there a motion on this?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. I'll second.
Any questions or discussion on this?
I had a couple questions for informational purposes.
Go ahead.
So I know we did this about 5 years ago when we had Peter, don't remember his name, the other interim manager. Marshall. So nothing since then has gotten like removed. Does it just stack up between the times when you do this? Is that how that
Yeah, when I
works?
look back, I noticed that this hadn't been done in a while.
Okay. Yeah, that was probably 5 years ago. So now, is this for like the township administration records, or does this include police? Are they totally separate?
Police records are totally separate.
Okay, I thought they might be. And is this for paper copies only or electronic digital records?
You could dispose of both, but this primarily addresses paper.
Okay. And then who gets the wonderful task of doing this? Who gets the task of doing this, or how do we go about?
It'll be done over the next year, and whoever would have downtime.
Okay.
We have our own shredder.
And that is all I wanted to ask, just informational things. I'm not opposed to it at all.
Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, I mean, as long as this follows the Commonwealth's guidelines and recommendations, I would think that this should be something that we do annually, right? Instead of every 5 years.
I would
He's
agree.
shaking his head.
So is that part of what this is? Or is this just gonna be this one single time?
Well, the resolution would have to be passed on an annual basis, because say for instance, if you take AL, which is General Correspondence, Files and Housekeeping, next year it would move it to 2021 and prior. So you have to update it.
It'll get done
based on
another yeah.
Correct.
I understand. Okay.
Can you put that tickle in our system, so no matter who may be here? Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna entertain a roll call.
Yeah.
Ms.
I'll call you.
Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. Next item is Resolution 32, 2026, condemnation of 2170 Johnston Avenue. During the January 5th, 2026 council meeting, we approved the condemnation of 2170 Johnston Avenue. The resolution is just formalizing council's action taken at the last council meeting. Is there a motion on this? Council. Will somebody make a motion on this?
Well,
Voice isn't coming out today.
I'll make the motion to adopt Resolution 32, 2026.
And I'll second then.
All right, can I have a roll call?
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes, sorry.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Cordero?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next item is 6E, Resolution 33, 2026, which is condemnation of 2226 Nursery Lane. Just like the prior agenda item, on January 5th, 2026, we approved the condemnation of this property, and this is formalizing that action taken at the last meeting. Is there a motion on this?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Any comments?
I'd like to say that this is a neighbor of mine, and the gentleman who owns the property, when I moved in, was very helpful in using his tractor to remove snow and help the neighbors. And I know that he was a retired veteran of the Marine Corps, I believe. And I would hope that the township can find a way to work with the property owner to resolve this.
Thank you. Roll call.
I'm sorry, I just need to.
I have a question.
Mr. Gress or Mr. Hemmelgarn?
Mr. Gress, I believe, made
A
the,
motion on the floor, though, and now Chad just brought in new information. So by doing what he suggested, can we like change our motion, or what do you recommend?
What you have right now is you have a motion on the floor, and that's the motion. He made a comment, and he's certainly entitled to make a comment. That's certainly appropriate. But now the motion's still on the floor.
Right, but I could pull the motion off the floor. We could.
You could.
Against it.
The property is in disrepair, and it's a danger.
Hear you, Chad.
The property is in disrepair. It's dangerous.
Okay. So you're not suggesting not to condemn it?
It should be. I just
Okay.
wish there was a way to find another solution.
Well, when we discussed this, though, I thought the understanding was, I mean, just by taking this resolution doesn't mean there's any immediate, I mean, there's still a process to go through.
There is a process. The
And
process
the homeowner can, you know, if they're able to correct the issue with, I guess, the
There is
walls
a
falling
process.
down or
This is
whatever.
not what you're voting on. You're voting on the
Right.
starting of the process.
Right.
You've already, in fact, voted to start the process.
Right.
This is confirming it.
I understand.
Yes, and I think, just so we're all clear, there may be a time where we come back as staff, or myself as your solicitor, and say, there's a possible resolution, and we'll discuss it with you.
Right.
But that's not for today.
I understand.
Thank you. I just want to be sure we're all on the same page.
Me too.
I just want things to be fair.
thank you very much. Stacy, can I have a roll call?
Thank you. Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Uptoff Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. So now we're moving to 6F, consideration of the International Property Maintenance Code ordinance. Council will consider authorizing the advertising of the ordinance to adopt the International Property Maintenance Code. The International Property Maintenance Code, otherwise known as IPMC, is a model code by the International Code Council setting minimum standards for the upkeep of existing residential and non-residential buildings and premises, ensuring public health, safety, and welfare by covering issues like sanitation, structural integrity, light, ventilation, heating, and fire safety. So I don't know if Steve or Jay have any other additional things to add about it. I personally will say that I think that is an appropriate thing to do because it's a safety measure, and we want to make sure that we're not dealing with situations where we have safety hazards. In addition, I know many of us, we appreciate having our properties maintained and having our neighbors' property maintained. And I think that for the township's future, it would be appropriate that we have this in place to protect our community and keep things moving along. But Jay, do you have anything additional to add about it, or Steve?
You want to go first? Sure. Want me to go first?
Either way, go ahead.
All right.
So the International Property Maintenance Code is essentially a standard and provides a standard of minimum safety and other requirements. It's, quite frankly, I was somewhat surprised that Lower Saucon hadn't passed this as of now. Most municipalities have, because it provides a breakdown of how certain items are handled, whether they're safety issues, whether they're condemnation issues, and so on and so forth. It's essentially the benchmark and the standard which most municipalities will adopt as a whole, because it sets up rules for all the things that your ordinances may or may not cover. Because as we know from a practical standpoint, if you're amending your ordinances on an ad hoc basis, meaning time and time, as one thing happens, you change it, another thing happens, you change it, you sometimes miss things. The whole idea is there's this uniform code, which is a good code. Is it perfect? Nothing is perfect, but it's certainly a lot better than what we have now. And it would be my recommendation that we adopt it. Quite frankly, I believe it should have been adopted some time ago.
Thank you.
I would have basically echoed the same thing, Steve. I was kind of surprised when I started here that Lower Saucon had not. Municipalities I've worked in the past have always had it, and it makes the job of code enforcement officer in the township a lot more structured and easier to maneuver through the requirements. Tyler could probably offer some comments as well.
I'll entertain those. Tyler, go ahead.
Yeah, we have quite a few, we've had quite a few issues, like the two properties that you guys discussed earlier, that probably could have been handled more effectively if we had the IPMC in place. Without that, we have to use the nuisance ordinance, which does leave a lot to be desired in its enforcement capabilities. So I would recommend that you guys adopt the IPMC, and then we can really start going after certain issues in the township that maybe aren't covered already in the ordinance.
So this would be more helpful than the nuisance then?
Yeah, it's going to encompass a lot more, and it's going to give us more abilities to abate certain issues.
Right, good.
And if I could just add one more thing, it sets a standard and a procedure and a policy so that you follow it. Tyler's not going to be here forever. I'm not going to be here forever.
Tyler.
The enforcements that are done today will be done by these set of rules, and the enforcements are done 2 years from now will be done by these set of rules, and it won't be at the whim of the person serving in positions. It'll be done based on what is on the books. It ensures consistency.
I like that a lot, that, you know, I know we've had concerns about different people or concerns about nepotism for one side or the other, or one reading versus another, and I do like that. It streamlines it and makes it more transparent.
Is there anything in here about wearing underwear? No? Okay, good.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Priscilla.
Well, I didn't want to cut Chad off.
So, I guess the globalist elite agenda here to increase safety in repairs, right? So we're talking, I'm looking through it, and it's talking about repairs shall be done in accordance with Pennsylvania codes. This is not an internet, this is in accordance with Pennsylvania codes, right? It's talking about fees that the township would assess for the issuance of permits. It's talking about violations. It's talking about weeds or plant growth, which we may want to talk about or review if we're going to have any effort on lawn to meadow programs, which is something that we've been discussing perhaps in the EAC side of things. What is this other one? 30414. This doesn't seem like a bad thing. From April to October, every door, window, outside opening for food preparation areas must be supplied with tightly fitting screens. You don't want insects in your food, do you? Is that a global leftist elitist thing? I didn't realize it was. Furnishing heat to occupants of a dwelling. Do you want people in our township to suffer in the chilling cold that we have right now? This makes sense. These are basics. I don't think that there's anything. I don't think that there's anything in here that is out of, the ordinary. And this is an advertisement still, correct, right?
Still needs.
It's an advertisement.
It's just still an advertisement. We're not even adopting this.
You want it to be written correct before you advertise it.
Yeah, so, okay, good. I have
Go
no
ahead.
issue with this.
Go ahead, Priscilla.
Okay, I just, one of the residents had questions over, and I didn't write down the section of the ordinance, proposed ordinance. Can you respond to that?
I think I'm not sure what proposal was. There was a resident that was asking about the data center ordinance.
No, it was with this code, I thought.
Nonetheless, whether one person did or did not, what's happening now is the next step is to advertise it. So then, while it's being advertised, we can go ahead and you can review, and if there's certain things we'd like to take a look at, we can. But I'm not sure what was referenced, so I'm not in a position.
Right, I didn't write it down, I apologize.
I didn't
It's
either.
on the YouTube, so.
This,
I think it looked into.
so it's
before.
international, but it's a
I'm sorry?
headquartered in the United States organization that writes the doctrine, basically.
Oh, so it is American.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's made in America.
Go ahead, go
I don't
ahead.
mean to speak for Priscilla, but I believe the section the resident mentioned she was talking about was section 5 about the automatic adoption.
Oh,
I
yeah,
believe
the
there were
future
concerns
adoptions.
about us potentially getting caught with our pants down, so to speak, if something were to change and things weren't updated, or even residents
Okay.
not being ready for those changes.
Sure. What normally happens is the code is often revised over time. So every couple of years or every certain amount of time, they'll put a new revision on because things will happen that nobody anticipated. So instead of having to redo this every single time, it automatically gets updated to the newest version. If at any point in time there's a new version that creates a problem, nothing prevents the township from going back and revisiting and saying, well, version number 8 added a provision that we are not happy with. We're going to change and we're not going to adopt that particular portion. But the way it's often, or the way I've always seen it done, and quite frankly, the way I've always done it, is it automatically adopts the future ordinances. So then you're not stuck, if nobody looks at this for 20 years, you're not stuck with the 20-year-old code while things have changed. And thank you for reminding me of the section that was discussed, because I didn't write it down and I didn't know what it was. Thank you. So again, I understand the concern, but I think it makes sense to do it this way, and I'd recommend doing it this way.
If that's the way other municipalities typically do it, it's probably best if that's the standard. I'm just a layperson.
Yeah, again, the only thing I would have a contention with potentially is 302-.4, which is the height of plant growth, if there would be an allowance or an exception for a lawn to meadow conversion. Because that's been a limiting factor in a lot of other municipalities to convert over from turf grass to native pollinating species of plants. So that would be something we might want to have as an exception in this.
We can take a look at that.
My comment before I would ask for a roll call on this is just.
I have comments too.
Oh, you have, okay. Go ahead, Laura.
Oh, okay, so maybe mine are longer though, sorry. I did read into this a little bit too, because I wasn't familiar with this International Property Maintenance Code, so I did look it up and was looking at the code itself, which is way more than what this little bits of words here are. It's pretty big. Our state actually had made a report. They had a commission that they put together, and they created a 2024 Property Maintenance Code Enforcement Report. And it discussed this issue, and the reason for using this code is really to prevent blight issues, so problems with blight. So it's not a huge problem in our township, but obviously it pops up because we just had 2 examples of it. It said that of the municipalities that they surveyed, 83% of them had this have some sort of property maintenance ordinance. You can actually write your own if you want to, although it seems like, why reinvent the wheel since the wheel's already invented here? It said of the municipalities that have this, 87% of them use this IPMC code. So that was making me feel better about it. It's not a far-fetched, weird idea to have this. And like Tyler said, it makes it easier to enforce what we already have. The question I had, so I would have questioned the same thing that was brought up about the future versions, but I'm satisfied with Steve's response on that. Also, I would ask, I know we specifically mention SFM consulting in here in the resolution.
Yeah.
And then it mentions, but any future, however it says that. Like, is there a better way to word that so that it's
Steve can probably articulate this as well, but you have to include who your current zoning officer is, and the township has named SFM as the township.
So is there a way to link it together though, so that you know when it changes, or?
Well, as indicated in the proposal, the township can appoint a code officer from time to time by resolution. So if we decide to change our code officer, we do a resolution, we don't have to re-adopt the entire code or anything else. The same way
Yeah,
that
that
if you
makes
want to
sense.
tinker with the code over time, you can do that.
Okay. Then one of my questions was, we do have some of these things in, like was mentioned, our nuisance ordinance. How does that work then? If we have like a conflict of what's in one versus the other, how do you know what keeps precedence, and do we have to update our nuisance ordinance?
It's not a precedence issue, it provides two options. So if we wanted to pursue under the nuisance ordinance, we could. If we wanted to pursue under the code, you could. So it provides a whole series of tools for the code officer that the code officer does not have right now.
Well, wouldn't it be confusing to a person though, if one says you can do X and the other says you can do Y?
It's
like,
normally not that, it's one, you can't do this, and B, A, you can't do this, B, you can't do this. And if they violate either.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're not creating some confusion. And then, how do we intend to enforce this? I mean, we're not hiring a person to go out and knock on people's doors and say, hey, I'm here to inspect your house today, see if you meet this code. I think people need to know how we intend to enforce it, because that isn't what we would have this for.
What it allows is the code officer to then provides him the tools to enforce the code. We're not at the stage now as to what he's going to do or not do. Right now, the idea is it provides him with the authority and the ability, assuming it was passed when the time comes. It provides him with the authority and the ability to do his job much better and to protect the safety of our residents. There's a big step from passing the code to your concerns of people running around trying to find violations. Right now, people, we don't have the manpower in our office, and our staff don't go around trying to find
But
violations.
I want people to know that's not really the intent of it either.
Correct.
We're not looking to hire a squad of people to go out and do home inspections. It's when your house is falling down and collapsing.
It would be on exception, and if someone brings something to our attention, then we have the means to do the investigation. Unless,
like for instance, if a tenant wasn't furnished heat.
Right.
Correct.
They wouldn't be able to do anything currently about that.
I mean, this property's in the township
In
that,
our township, I guess, yeah.
this property's in the township that unless someone brings something to our attention, the township staff hasn't done anything.
Right.
If you had a staff in place, there are a lot of violations that we could go after, but it's done on an exception basis, and that's the way historically Lower Saucon's already done it. So you would need a staff of 5 code enforcement officers, a vehicle for each one of them to drive around the township with a check, pad of paper going, okay, Steve's house needs 2 shades and a window, and his grass is 12.4 inches. Municipalities don't do that. This is to manage exceptions.
I understand. I just want that to be publicly known.
Thank you, Laura. I think that was just my only comment. I wanted to reassure the public. I don't see this as any intent. It was brought forward by our staff, so this wasn't anything that I'm aware of that a council member was spearheading. But at the same time, we have always been a township that worked with our residents, that tried to find reasonable solutions when there is a concern with one neighbor, with another neighbor. And I think that this streamlines the process, and it makes it more transparent for property owners so that they don't go to the township and they wonder, or they might spread a rumor that they were treated differently than the other person down the road. So I have seen this in other municipalities. It's very common, so I'm in favor of it, but I did want to reassure the residents that I'm not interested in increasing our staff to go after residents, and I expect our staff that we would continue with the way that we have always done it, which was to work with residents and try to resolve issues without having to do enforcement. So I don't think we have any other, I think everybody's made their comments and concerns, but I'm looking at Mr. Gress, so go ahead.
Just for clarification, we're not voting to pass this today.
No.
We're just voting to advertise, put it
Just
out there, it can be
advertise.
looked at.
Yes.
And then later on down the road, we can make that decision if we're gonna put it in place or not.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, roll call.
Miss Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gress,
Yes.
Ms. Aptoff Cordero,
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker,
Yes.
Ms. De Leon.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is, again, proposal for an ordinance for data center. Council's going to consider a data center ordinance to the Lehigh Valley and Lower Saucon Planning Commissions. Data centers shall be permitted by conditional use in the light manufacturing zoning district is what's being proposed in this draft. When approved in compliance with the procedures, standards, and criteria contained in this section. So I'm sure as many of you have heard or seen in the newspapers, data centers are a new thing in the Lehigh Valley area. It's a new way to generate, they need to generate energy for AI and various other things, but they raise a big host of concerns related to environment and the community. So it's been encouraged that we revise our ordinance. If you don't know this, if you don't provide for a specific use in your community, if you have nothing mentioning it, some developer can come in anywhere in your community and spot pick and say, I want to put my data center here. And since your ordinance is silent on it, you have to suck it up. And I don't want our township to be in that situation. So I know that we've heard some comments about that today, but I would prefer to err on the side of caution and making sure that we provide for this because we don't want to be on the other end of the stick. So that's how I feel. So I'm going to entertain a motion. I don't know how the rest of council feels, but right now I'd just like to entertain a motion to consider discussion on the data center ordinance.
Were you just discussing it?
Well, we have to have a motion before we can discuss it.
So do you want a motion to discuss it, or do you want a motion to send the data center ordinance?
No,
Okay.
I want a motion to send the data center ordinance to the LVPC and our planning commission.
I have comments.
It's not for adoption?
No.
It's for their review?
Yes.
All right, I'll make a motion for that.
Is there a second?
I will second.
I have a question.
Okay, now comments. Go ahead, Priscilla.
Again, one of the residents brought up something about, I didn't write down the number and the thing, closeness to the site distance or the 200 feet or something like that. Can that be looked into?
It can be looked into. Normally what you do is you have some sort of barrier or some distance between residential and these types of uses. And it's something that we can certainly take a look at. But generally, we had input from our engineer and so on, and that seems to be the standard of what you see. You don't want to be in a position where you make it so prohibitive that then you open yourself up to a legal challenge.
Right.
You don't want to say it has to be 800 feet or 1,000 feet, which makes it essentially impossible to ever build one of these things.
Right, but I don't want to be that resident that close when it could have been a bigger distance, larger distance. The other thing, I did have another question. I can't remember. Go ahead, other people, and I'll think.
Go ahead, Mr. Grass.
Just where did this ordinance, the way it is now, come from? Do we know who?
Sure. What we don't have is we don't have a data center ordinance. So what that means is exactly what was indicated earlier. If you don't have a particular use allowed, it becomes very problematic. So by my recommendation, by pursuing this, you're not being pro data center at all. You're regulating data centers. So you cannot decide, I just don't want a data center in my town. You can't do that. So you have to provide for the use. You want to be able to control that use. So you want to control where it would be, in what districts it'll be, what it'll be near, how much space you need, and so on. Hanover Engineering has the expertise that provided us a lot of the background as to how this is done. And quite frankly, it's important to do this now because there's other municipalities in Pennsylvania who have not done this and are now stuck with legal challenges or other problems.
Yeah.
Okay, I remembered my question.
So I'm sorry, back to Mr. Gress's question. Who prompted this? It was staff.
Okay.
It was myself, Mr. Finnegan, Mr. Cocker.
Thank you. Go ahead, Priscilla.
Okay, pending ordinance, language. I know that takes effect somewhere in this system. Is it starting tonight, or is it when we come back and advertise it? There's protection under a pending
It
ordinance.
has to be advertised
So
first.
that's when the pending thing starts.
So we have to move as quickly, my recommendation is we move quickly.
Right,
This is something we should not wait, we should not go slowly on.
right. I understand.
To follow up on Hunter's question, this is a direct result of a situation that was mentioned during public comment. Penn Township does not have, and did not have, a ordinance covering data centers. So there's now a developer, and I believe it's either 700 or 900,000 square feet, that there's a proposal that they're kind of stuck with because they have nothing to control it. So when that first started 3 or 4 months ago, I looked in Lower Saucon's ordinances and saw it wasn't covered. And to Steve's point, if someone wanted to come in and say, put a, I don't know, 100,000 square foot data center, which is small by today's standards, in a residential neighborhood, because there was enough open lots, it would go in there and you couldn't regulate it. It just, they have, by right, because your ordinances does not cover it.
Data centers.
Correct.
I guess my concern was just to make sure that we had our engineer involved with the writing up of the ordinance, because to me, as a layman, it seems very restrictive with some of the things, and I'm all for making sure, you know, you have a good community for developers, residents alike, but you have to mix that at some point. You don't want to scare away development. So that was my concern, that this may scare away a potential data center in the future with some of the restrictiveness of it, but if that's what our engineers recommend, they got the expertise over me. So I'll go with what they think is best.
Okay, Brian, do you have any, just because everybody commented that you were involved, can you add anything additional?
This is based on a model many counties are encouraging municipalities to adopt, but a lot of places have adopted models and they've changed the models and they've added things. So we've had the ability to look to see what other communities across the state have actually enacted and added to this model, and we've put a lot of that into here.
Thank you. Okay, Laura, do you have any?
Well, I don't know if it's handy, but I did ask if we could have a reminder map showing us where our LM is. Is this over by the landfill? Is that the LM, or is it Easton Road? That's LI, right?
It's the same thing. It's both.
It's
you
both?
have LM to the west of the landfill, and you also have it along Easton Road.
Okay, so I just thought that would be a good thing for everybody to see, because don't have the zoning memorized in our heads
Wait,
here.
fills in, isn't it?
So what color?
It's the gray one.
Yeah, okay, right. So that gray skinny strip is the Easton Road area. And then it's the other gray area, which is in front of the landfill or down from the landfill?
Apple butter.
And also, the Apple Butter Road one has water and sewer, public water and sewer, am I correct?
Right.
What was it?
Water and sewer, public water and sewer on
Well,
Apple
it's
Butter
in
Road.
the area, it's not sewer.
Right, but it's close,
So
right?
if we don't adopt this, the whole map's open. How does that make you feel?
Well,
That would be correct, Mr.
how it
Hamburger.
is for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense if we want to be restrictive to keep this within those two areas.
I think the size of those areas already is, I mean, that's incredibly restrictive already. That's going to keep that away from a majority of residents if you look at the way the township's zoned. I know there's residents in those areas, but
Yeah, I mean, but Easton Road's already done with all of the warehouses on the other side that we have no control
Well,
over.
we were supposed to look at that zoning, and we kind of got put on the back burner.
Okay,
So,
Laura, you spoke, did you have anything else, Laura?
Well, my only other comment was, and we're talking about making it a conditional use, which means that we would be able to deny the conditional use if we don't think it satisfies the conditions with, especially the water usage and
Right.
water,
They would
you know,
have to
well,
meet- an applicant
draining
would
down
have to-
well water supplies, which would
Yeah.
be like the biggest concern, so.
right.
It does give us control, which, you know, it wouldn't be a automatic.
An applicant would have to meet all the conditional use standards, correct?
Okay.
So, yeah, I think we should move this along and get input from LVPC and the Planning Commission.
Do we have an idea how long it's gonna take LVPC to respond?
30 days.
The requirement's 30 days.
30 days. They have to, they are required to get back to us.
30 days
within
for
30
the
days.
LPC, and then it would go on the
February Planning Commission meeting, I believe.
February, no,
Or,
It would be advertised for our February meeting?
for
Yes.
the
the township.
Township's Planning Commission in February.
Okay. And then, so realistically, we could get this adopted by,
No, they would have to come back and then would have to be listed for advertising.
We would get it March and
March,
and listed
and
for
then into
advertising.
April.
And then have a hearing in April.
Okay.
The LVPC may have 45 days. So it would be ideal to have that review back in time for our planning commission to look at it, but I don't think that's required. Both planning commissions can look at it. And you can look at their comments in March and see if you want to make any revisions to this draft before you advertise.
Okay.
I appreciate the note in here about the buffer plantings being native species specifically. That's one note. Noise and vibration restrictions. I mean, this seems like it takes care of a lot of the concerns that other communities are facing right now. So I think this would help protect our residents.
Okay, I said what I said at the beginning, so I'll entertain a roll call.
Mr. Gress?
Yes.
Ms. Aptow Cordero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. De Leon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next is item 6H, confirming the recording of scenic and conservation easements previously recorded in Northampton County Recorder of Deeds at volume 1994-6, page 10281, and volume 1994-6, page 102074. As part of the court's order in Petrie versus Lower Saucon Township, Northampton County docket number 2023-6089, the court determined that the release of the easements was void ab initio and reestablished the easements. Council will consider a motion to authorize the solicitor to take the necessary steps to confirm the recording and or re-recording of the scenic and conservation easements previously recorded. Steve, you don't have anything else to add to that?
I do not.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to that effect.
I will happily move it to, as stated by the president.
I'll second that.
Happily?
Okay, any additional comments about it?
I have a question. My understanding, the court ruled that those easements were in place. What is the purpose of the reinstating? I may just not, it may be a lawyer question, I may not understand the process.
No, just to avoid any and all doubt, because the problem is now you have technically, you have the easements that have been recorded, and then you have a release of those, and then you have a court order. Court order is not filed at the Recorder of Deeds. So if somebody went to look, you'd see the initial easement, If somebody had the information, they were released and didn't look in the civil division, which is a different division, you could then move forward with the idea that it was released and it could cause a problem or an inconsistency or an issue. This would mean if you went to the recorder of deeds, you'd see the initial easement, potentially the release of the easement, and then the reinstatement of the easement, therefore avoiding any and all doubt.
So it's very thorough.
More or less, it's just a formality to make sure everything's in place, in the same place.
To avoid problems in the future.
Thank you.
Potential problems.
Is there anything in here that prevents it from being removed again in the future by council?
There is a process in which one can release a scenic easement, and there's a requirement, and I've interpreted the law that you'd have to go in front of a judge and obtain court approval, and you'd have to provide notice and so on. So there is a mechanism in which conservation easements can be removed under certain circumstances, and you can't prevent that from happening.
It's not
It takes a legislative body's action to do that, start that process.
But it's not like something that we could protect for 20, 30, 50 years.
The easement's in existence, it will remain in existence in perpetuity. Unless something happens.
That's how it was written in that resolution back in 1994. I was there.
The process, as I understand it, is if a future council wanted to proceed with a release again, they wouldn't be able to just have a vote like they did last time. There's a whole process under a law. You have to go before a judge, give notice to people. There's a certain criteria standard the township would have to prove it before. So but legal, and I'm not the lawyer, Steve is the lawyer for the township, but I understand it, that we would be following the law in a much different way. And we don't really there's no way to prevent a future council from trying to follow the other steps.
Understand.
Does that make sense?
Can I have a comment? I'd like to say that back when, in 2023, when this was voted by the previous council majority, the vote was 3-2, and I voted no. I just want the record to reflect that I wasn't part of this in the beginning.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a roll call? Stacy or Jay?
Ms. Otto-Scudero?
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Ms. DeGrasse?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Next, we're gonna entertain approval of Environmental Advisory Council officers. Council's going to consider approval of the EAC officers who were unanimously approved by the EAC on January 13th. Mr. Drew Germanowski, Dr. Drew Germanowski, Chairman, Jennifer Helton, Vice Chair, and Kathy Fitchell-McGovern as Secretary. I will entertain a motion to approve those appointments.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Okay, any comments?
Who made the second?
Me.
Thank you.
I don't see any comments, so I'm gonna do a roll call.
Mr. Heimbecker?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeon?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Ms. DeGrasse?
Yes.
Ms. Otto-Scudero?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, next is J. Council will consider the approval of the attached EAC bylaws that were unanimously approved by the EAC on the January 13th EAC meeting. My understanding is that they were looking at this all last year, but I will turn this over to Laura. You want to give?
Can we get a motion in a second first?
I'll make a motion that we approve the updated EAC bylaws.
I'll second.
Okay, so discussion. Who wants to go
What's a
first?
second? Okay, I just want to write it down, that's all.
Laura or Chad, I'm going to leave it to you as the EAC people.
Well, we had bylaws, but they were put in place in 2010, so they were quite old, and we wanted to get them updated to reflect better, make things more clear. some of the changes we made were regarding attendance and, you know, removing members if they're not attending, because we want to make our meetings functional, so we need our members to be present. And let's see, another change we made is regarding, a big change that we made is regarding having voting members of council as voting members on EAC. So EAC is unique in that it has an extra big board. We have 12 members, 7 are voting, 5 are non-voting. We call them associates. And in the past, we've had 2 voting council members also be 2 voting EAC members, and we thought that was like too much redundancy in our boards, so we cut that down so that only 1 voting member from council could be a voting member on EAC. And then, you know, you can be an associate member. So those are some of the big changes to point out.
Okay.
Talk about anything else? Let's
Chad, anything else?
No, the only other thing was that I think that the voting members have to be a non-voting member first, but you can't be made a voting member on the EAC.
And
without
that actually
having
was in
served.
our original bylaws, it just kind of
Overlooked.
It was ignored.
Got
Yeah.
ignored along the way, not by us.
So,
Yes,
We don't want
majority.
that to happen again, so.
Okay. I will entertain a roll call unless there's somebody else that has a comment about it. Thank you both for the detailed explanation of what happened. Roll call.
De Leon,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gress,
Yes.
Ms. Off Deputy
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Next is Resolution 34, 2026, appointment of the EAC voting member. Council will consider, we will consider appointing Russell Sutton Jr. to the EAC as a voting member. I understand there was a vacancy and that the EAC is recommending Mr. Sutton, if I get that right. So I will entertain a motion to appoint him.
So moved as stated by the president.
I'll second.
Any comments?
If it's what the EAC believes is best for them, same thing with the bylaws, they recommend it, and I say we go for that.
I would like to say that his attendance has been consistent and he's been actively involved with all of our projects. And I think he's gonna do a good job.
Okay, I will entertain a roll call.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gress,
Yes.
Ms. Off Deputy
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker,
Yes.
Ms. De Leon.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, item number L is discussion of a resident survey concerning single-use plastics. I believe this was also something that the EAC developed, and this is consideration of a survey for our residents to provide us comment, but I will entertain a motion to approve the survey for dissemination, and then after that, we'll do comment.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn this over to Laura and Chad again, so you can both explain what's going on here.
You do it.
You want me to?
We worked on this together.
We did. Well, you wrote the article.
Well, I wrote an article, which is kind of an aside, that will go in our next newsletter. And at the end of the article, we intend to have the QR code and probably a URL that'll take people to doing the survey. So that'll be one way
Right.
to get input.
So we have this survey regarding single-use plastics. There's 14 questions that will be sent out to the residents to complete to discern their awareness of plastic pollution, on health and the environment, what their shopping habits are, whether they use recyclable or reusable items, and supporting businesses that may replace single-use plastics with reusable, such as in food service or delivery or things like that. Maybe moving from plastic bags to paper or reusable. And so understanding the support from the community on this, I think, is important before we move forward on any ordinance. And I look forward to the results of this. Hopefully we can get this published and put into the newsletter that's going to be released. I'm not sure when the next one's going to be on the calendar. They were saying maybe February or March. And if we can get this out and then have a window for public comment, maybe over 60, 90 days, something like, how long did the survey for Parks and Rec, was that active? Do you know?
It was too short.
Too short?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we want to leave enough time for people to be able to respond.
Yeah.
So, but not too much time that they forget about and they don't care.
Right.
So you got to find that golden window, right? And yeah.
Jay, is there anything, or Steve, is there anything specific we need to say with respect to this to identify that it would be in, the survey would also be included in the newsletter and the other dissemination methods that we currently use on social media and constant contacts, all that stuff? Do we have to do anything special? I mean, you understand all that stuff? Okay, and the window, okay.
And to say again, a number of local municipalities and other EACs within Lehigh and Northampton County are moving forward on reducing microplastics and pollution. So this is a regionalized effort to help improve, again, the health and the environment in the Lehigh Valley, which I hold near and dear, obviously we all do.
Thank you. I will just say as my comment, I do have a great concern about microplastics. My understanding is microplastics are plastics, single-use plastics that break down into the environment and become microscopic in nature and then get into your food source supply and your water supply and then damage your internal organs, and you could end up getting various things like cancer and other things from them. There's been studies about that. So that's my concern, is I really don't want to be ingesting plastic. That's how I view it in its plainest sense. I think getting a survey from our community gets everybody's opinion in on it, and I think it also helps to start beginning the conversation of that knowledge and understanding of why this might be something that we should consider. I also feel it's important to get the information from our businesses to understand whether they feel like they could adopt something like this reasonably, and whether they have any concerns, whether this would increase their bottom line, or, and I think that we could also help educate in explaining how they could avoid any financial hardship by switching over, because I think that's the biggest thing I've heard from anybody, is that they're concerned that this would stifle businesses or hurt their ability to sell their items. But I mean, I still go to Wegmans, and they don't have any plastic bags there anymore. But so I think that I didn't really think Wegmans lost any money on their bottom line from the switch. But I also am, that's a larger business with a more regional view. So I think that in this respect, we can start that conversation and help educate and also address any concern. So if there is a concern about that, we can help problem solve it for them so that they feel comfortable and they can promote it from their end also. So that's I'm in favor of the survey, and that's what this is, a survey. So
yeah, it is just a survey. And to follow up on your point about some of the health impacts, I think it's about everybody has about a teaspoon of microplastics floating throughout their body easily, And one of the other issues that when I was going to my Penn State Master Watershed Steward program, we went to a lecture from a researcher who it's antibiotic resistant bacteria is one of the big issues that we have, because the way that the chemistry of it mimics what antibiotics are. So you have these the bacteria that are breeding on these microscopic pieces of plastic that are floating around in our waterways. And when they take that sample of bacteria and put it on the agar plate, and they use a standard dose of antibiotic, it's not as effective. So you have to use a higher dose of antibiotic to treat the same bacteria that are evolving to be more damaging to our community. So it's definitely something on a larger level that I think we should be looking into. And there's been to your point about the bottom line and costs, there's a lot of research from sustainability coordinators throughout the area on how to effectively do this, okay? So that it can motivate the community to come together without undue burdens and costs. And we're you know, reusable objects are things that we're not throwing away, so they're not getting put in the landfill in the first place. You know, we're washing them instead. And I think that makes a lot more sense. There's programs where you have a cup that you take from one restaurant or facility, you can take it home, you use it, you take it to another place when you get your drink, and they'll wash it for you and give a brand new cup back. It's like a rental program. There's other ways where you can have recyclable plates that you drop it off in the waste receptacle, and a company comes by and picks it up and does the dishes and brings the dishes back. So there's approaches where you're not just trying to force somebody to use a different material, but a way that reduces the overhead in the first place. So.
Okay. Mr. Grass?
If I'm not mistaken, what you guys are asking, or what the AC is asking of council tonight, is just to put this survey out into their newsletter and get information from the public.
Yes.
And it's about single-use plastic. I don't know if this was out on that everyone could see. There's questions about plastic bag bans, single-use plastic bans, things like that in here. So the idea is to get feedback from residents and see how we should move forward with something like that?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's important that you get resident feedback for something like that, because I feel like that's something that's very, I don't know what the right way to put it is, but it affects you in your day-to-day life. It's something you come in contact with very often. It's not like a building ordinance, not everyone's building house every day. People go shopping, they get takeout food. That's something they come in contact with every day. It affects their life very much. So I think it's important we get a survey and get resident feedback from this.
I agree.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Grass.
Yes.
Dr. Piero.
Yes.
Yes.
Heimberger.
Yes.
That's you now.
Okay, I went out of turn, sorry. Yes.
You skipped me.
Ms. Wright.
Yes.
I only heard four.
Doing really well today.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, next are miscellaneous business items, approval of January 5th, 2026, reorganization and general business meeting minutes. I will entertain a motion on that.
I'll make a motion
To approve the minutes.
to approve the minutes.
So each motion needs to be,
Of the
You wanna
reorganization
pull them
council
out?
meetings.
yes, reorganization has to be done separately from the general business.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the reorg meeting. Just that motion. Will somebody motion that?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second that.
Okay, can I have a roll call on that?
Ms. Alcadero,
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker,
Yes.
Ms. Leon,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Grass.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, now we'll entertain a motion on approving the minutes from the general business meeting on January 5th, 2026. Motion for that.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call on that.
Mr. Heimbecker,
Yes.
Mr. Leon,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gress,
Yes.
Walter Piero.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Approval, next item, approval of December 2025 financial reports. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion that we approve the December 2025 financial report.
Second? Anybody?
Second it.
Okay. Roll call?
Mr. Leone,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gress,
Yes.
Ms. Altough-Gadero,
Yes.
Heimbecker.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. If we could just back up a little bit here. Stacy stepped down because it does not appear that there was a motion and second on the, to appoint, which one was it, Stacy?
The ordinance, it was an issue, you all started talking about it.
To adopt, to,
Okay, so we're going back.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, it's already started and then.
Which agenda item?
Explanation, everybody started
6F.
talking, and then I wasn't sure if I heard a motion in a second, so.
so
Okay,
item
so,
to,
6 what?
F.
F, thank you.
International Property.
Okay, so I'm gonna entertain a motion to authorize the advertising of ordinance for the adoption of the International Property Maintenance Code. Is there a motion on that?
Sure, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I'm gonna take a roll call.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gress,
Yes.
Altough-Gadero,
Yes.
Mr. Heimbecker,
Yes.
Ms. DeLeon.
Yes.
Okay.
Carries.
Are there any other concerns with the business meeting? Okay. So now we're up to public comment agenda or non-agenda items, 3-minute limit on your comments. Do we have any comments for this?
Andrea Witchen, Lower Saucon Township resident. The reason that I would like to comment is on the plastic survey that you have agreed to put together for the EAC. And if it's all right with you, when you have the survey put together and the link ready for it, I would like to also include that in the next edition of Saucon Shenanigans so that it reaches more people in the township. So unless I hear contrary-wise from the EAC that they don't want that done, I would plan on doing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a great idea. Thanks.
Thank you for your comment. Next person, please.
So back to the topic of your data centers. Right now, there's townships that are doing these in residential areas, and they're giving the data centers an overlay, is what they're calling it. They're not giving them a zoning ordinance. They're giving them what's called an overlay, which is, I find ridiculous. These things don't belong in residential areas. You're using an industrial amount of electricity, you're using an industrial amount of water, and that's where they belong, in an industrial setting. You can make all the rules you want and do whatever you want with this data ordinance that you want to come up with, but whatever you do, you make sure that you force it into an industrial setting where it belongs, not in a residential setting. I don't know if any, no, I'm not good enough for any of you people to be on my Facebook page. But if you go on there, or you go on my YouTube page, you can see when I went up to Penn Forest Township last Monday or 2 weeks ago, Monday night, and I went to their meeting on data centers. And they're having another one, they're having a conditional use hearing coming up on the 29th that I plan to attend. And from what I read about a lot of others recently, these people were getting away with putting these in residential areas. Archibald one, I think it's up above Scranton. They wanted to draw out like 3 million gallons of water a day. They wanted like 50 diesel generators on the property to run this thing. And you wanna agree, Gudzuzian and Mr. Zoning over there wanted to say 200 feet away from residential houses. That's ridiculous. That's just absurd. When I went to Penn Forest Township, they wanted 1,000 feet. They got like 750 acres up there on the corner up from Penn's Peak. If anybody ever been up there, where you go up the hill to the stop sign and it's 903. It's a big giant field up there. I got friends that live up there. That's why I went up. So don't approve any of this or come up with any ideas that makes it residential or some of the other listings for zoning. Make it industrial where it belongs and make sure it stays there. And frankly, other than a dump, I don't see any place in Lower Saucon Township that has any room to put one of these to begin with. I think somebody would be foolish to come here and try and put one in. But they're trying to destroy the Poconos all over the place with them up there. Pay attention to more than your own township.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Okay, we are done with public comment. Council reports. I'll go down the line. Priscilla.
Okay, just 1 second. Okay, on January 12th, I attended a Saucon Valley Conservancy meeting. On January 15th, I attended a landfill meeting here at the Township Building. On January 19th, the Historic Committee from the Township met, and our focus was on Heritage Day, honoring Saucon Valley's roots. That's the name of our mission for the 250th. And I want to thank the Historic Committee and the volunteers that attended. And if anybody's interested in helping us volunteer for Heritage Day, which is, I never remember, May 16th? I think it's May 16th. And please email me and you can join the committee. And we're going to be doing research on the soldiers that are buried in the different cemeteries and the different names that were popular back then, and research into their roots. And Michael Heller was one of the first one of the first people that delivered provisions down to the troops down in Washington, then to Washington's and Valley Forge. So that's pretty impressive to me, because we're at the Heller Homestead and we're going to be honoring him and what he did. And we're going to have a wagon, and we're going to ask people to stop over and visit and provide provisions, non-perishable provisions, and load up the wagon. And then we're going to, at the end of the day, we're going to give what we receive to food banks in Lower Saucon Township. So I'm going to try to do that. And we have other things planned, so it should be a good day. So if anybody wants to help, research history, do whatever, let me know, or Mark Connor, the historian. On this morning at 12, I guess today, I attended a PSATS webinar, and I guess I want to end by saying thank you to all the people that were out there with the snow, and I hope you're embracing yourselves for what they say is going to be this storm of whatever, the century. But it may or may not happen. And also, I just remembered something. At the landfill meeting, they talked about an agreement that the landfill recently signed with DEP. Did we receive a copy of that?
The consent order?
Pardon?
A consent order?
I guess, is that what they called it? I didn't see the document, so I don't know what it's called.
I had forwarded it to council.
Ooh, when did you do that?
Last Wednesday?
Okay, I guess I'm have to go back to my emails.
I can resend again.
Okay, if I can't find it, I'll let you know, but thank you, okay. That's all I have, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Grass.
Keep it short and sweet, but just big thank you to all the Public Works and the township employees, Public Works Township employees and Water Authority employees who plowed snow for us, salted the roads. I think our roads were clear before any of the PennDOT roads were, so that is always a good thing. And of course, thank you to our police department and our fire departments for responding to any and all incidents they had during those snowstorms. And good luck with the next one that's supposedly coming this weekend. You guys do a lot, and we appreciate it. That's all.
Laura?
Shall I go? We're going down the line. Okay, I didn't really prepare a report. Had too many meetings this week, but we did meet with Lower Saucon Fire Rescue, our executive committee on the 8th, but I did not bring updated notes, so I'll let you do that. And EAC met on the 13th, and all the items, the 4 items that are on our agenda are moving forward from that meeting. And I as well attended the webinar today for PSATs. It was regarding legal and handling lawsuits, all that fun stuff for us non-lawyer people. And I just wanted to make a comment back based on Mark's comment about the data center again, to point out that we do specifically have it targeted for the light manufacturing area. So it's not like the middle of the whole township. So you have to pick somewhere. Well,
Laura.
it's right in front of the landfill, so that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Stacy, can you bring up the township website, please? I would just like to remind everyone that if we're gonna be doing this survey that's gonna be on the news, in the newsletter, that everyone out there watching makes sure to sign up on our newsletter on the website. You go to lowersaucontownship.org, okay? And you should see this section here where you can join, okay? And click on that and then fill out the form, okay? Do they have to do the newsletter box specifically to be on the to get the digital newsletter?
Yeah, they would select which is an item of interest.
Does everyone at home, I hope you see this, there's a checkbox there, newsletter. Choose that so that you get the updates, because the township is not sending it out the paper copies anymore. So the only way you're gonna know what's going on is if you sign up on this form, okay? I wanted to make a point of that. That's how the survey for the plastics is gonna be distributed. On the EAC side of things, the next meeting we're having February 10th, I'm trying to pull together a presentation on road salt, which will also involve the Saucon Creek watershed. They've done some water sampling testing, so as much as we love to have our clear roads, we do, and safe roads for travel, that does have an impact on our watershed. So there are ways that we might have to or want to look at long-term using a brining or better plows that helps reduce the amount of salt that we have to do to keep our roads clear and safe. So there's going to be a presentation on that on February 10th. I urge the public to come out to that. And then lastly, we're talking about PSATs. I'm going to the first day of the boot camp this weekend on Saturday, 8 to 4, something like that. So I'm looking forward to learning more about township supervisors.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Heimbecker. First, the Fire Services Executive Committee, we did meet, as Laura said. We discussed requests from the fire company, which we're now reviewing their, with the fire truck, and also more discussion on Southeastern Fire Station. And we're moving forward with the proposal from Mr. Ozog and his recommendations on what the committee should be trying to tackle in the next few months. So that's pretty much what we discussed. If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sure Jay can fill me in. What else? We also had the landfill committee meeting, which, as Priscilla indicated, there is a consent decree in which the landfill entered into with the Department of Environmental Protection, discussing the outstanding violations that have been going on for the last couple years. The decree is a bit lengthy and has a lot of information in it. So I think that it would be helpful moving forward if we have a nice summary for the public so people can understand that. I know we're gonna discuss it at the next landfill committee meeting, which isn't until April. But I think that it's also helpful for the general public to understand what happened there. We also had invited the DEP to come to our landfill committee meeting in January. Unfortunately, due to an emergency, they were unable to come. So we are now looking forward to hopefully having them come in April. So that is the major updates from the landfill committee meeting. Lots of comments. Still people very concerned about the view on the northern realignment. But we were hopeful to hear from the DEP, and we'll have to wait for April for that to occur. There was Water Authority reorganization last night. So they have, I think, reappointed Mr. Gress as the president again, not you, your father. But anyway, Water Authority, again, their pumping station was the big project that they tackled. So they reorganized just yesterday. I want to reiterate what Mr. Gress said to our public works and police and fire. Thank you very much, because I know it's been a very busy time, and it's been very, 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 very cold. And I've seen you all out there working very hard in those conditions. So thank you very much for getting those roads cleared and for keeping us safe. And thank you in advance for whatever may come this weekend. That is it for me. So I'm gonna go to staff reports. Mr. Finnegan?
I really don't have anything, but I do want to remind the public that if Armageddon does occur over the weekend, that it's a lot easier for Public Works and the authority to plow with vehicles not transversing the roadways and not parking on the roadways, particularly in heavy snowstorms. The plows can tend to go where the plow wants to go, even if the operator is being careful. And if there's a vehicle parked on the side of the road, it might be inadvertently hit because the weight of the snow takes the plow in many different directions. And if it comes off as forecasted starting late Saturday and going into potentially sometime Monday, the guys will be exhausted, and we're gonna have to pull them off the road so they can appropriately rest. So, you know, the roads probably on Sunday will be difficult to transverse if it snows what they're predicting, which the latest one that just came across is like a 70% of 18 inches or more.
18 inches.
There was a time not too long ago that we got 30 inches.
I was just gonna say that. I was
They didn't call that
Because we
time
didn't
either. It
have
was supposed to be
wind.
12 inches and it just stuck.
Yeah, 30 inches.
Yeah, it stayed
And
over us.
it didn't have any forward motion, and it just hung out for a day and a half.
Are they saying
Good
there's
luck
gonna be
at the
wind with
grocery
this? Is
stores.
it gonna be like a blizzard? No.
No, having
Yeah.
started in a grocery store in my teens and early 20s, this is a great marketing ploy for grocery stores.
Yes.
I think they actually pay weather forecasters to say it, because everyone is told on their way home to pick up 4 gallons of milk and 6 loaves of bread because you're gonna be stuck
Forget
in
the
the house for 3 months. So.
Gotta make lots of cookies, eggs, eggs and butter.
Well, I have chickens, I'll be okay with that.
Okay.
That's all I would have.
Thank you, Mr. Finnegan. Mr. Gazuzian?
I don't have a formal report, but there was a indication from a member of the public that Township Council was doing something inappropriate by meeting on a social basis. I want to dispel any issues with regard to that. Municipal officials can attend social events, and as long as they're not conducting public business or engaging in deliberations, it is not a violation of the Sunshine Act. So the allegation that a series of municipal officials or township officials met at a particular restaurant and had a drink or had some time together is not a violation of the Sunshine Act.
It's not.
Thank you, Mr. Gazuzian.
Thank you.
We don't have anybody else here. So please check out the upcoming meetings. Zoning Hearing Board, January 26th. Saucon Rail Trail is next week at Upper Saucon Township. Parks and Rec is February 2nd. Planning Commission, I believe, was canceled for January, so there's no Planning Commission due to no business. Fire Service Exec Committee meets February 5th, and we meet around there. That's February 18th, so that's the next council meeting. EAC is February 10th, and landfill is in April, as I said. Without anything else going on, I will motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Stay warm.
Yeah,
Safe.
stay safe.